Welcome to the Walking in Victory podcast. I'm Victoria, a licensed counselor in Georgia. This podcast discusses mental health, the intersection of science and scripture, and assists my listeners in walking in victory. Welcome back, Victoria's viewers, to the Walking in Victory podcast. I'm your host, Victoria Glover, licensed professional counselor. And we are back on season 3 with yet another powerful guest. And just so you all know I say this quite often, you all are in for a treat because today we have a special guest that is actually the mastermind behind all of my social media, the podcast editing. So we have a gem here with us, whose name is also Victoria. This is Victoria Jones, a very, very, very anointed woman of God, who I've been blessed to not only been able to partnership in with business, but also I'm blessed to call a friend. Mm-hmm. Victoria, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Sure. Well, I'm Victoria Jones. I own a business, and I'm so honored actually to assist you in all of this because I think you're a gem and a very anointed woman. So I'm just very honored to be a part. It's weird being on this side of the camera. I am also a person who prefers to be on the backside of the camera, but we're here and God's good.
Victoria, do you want to talk a little bit about Blue Jay for a minute?
Oh, well, I mean, sure. An opportunity. Shameless plug.
Yeah. Hashtag plug your business.
I'm putting that on the screen. So Blue Jay, essentially we build brands from scratch, starting with brand identity design, website design, in this case, content creation, social media management, and all of those things. So we just really, our intention is really to add value to businesses, whether you're already established and you're wanting to take it higher and kind of mainstream, or if you're already mainstream and wanting to make it, more mainstream. Or just modernize the look, or,
So Victoria's business did just that for me. For those of you all who have been following me from the beginning, there was a period of time where my social media just was not there, and then it came back very consistent. That is because of this wonderful woman right here. Wow. She runs social media pages. She assists small business owners in getting their name out there, and which I think is such a beautiful business, beautiful skill set, beautiful talent that you have. And I'm grateful to partner with you, Victoria.
Yeah, thank you again for the opportunity. This is a dream come true. So
dream come true.
You're the first full podcast you
do. Man, and just superb editing skills. The podcast would not be here, you all, without this woman. So just wanted to make sure that they know.
Thank you.
You got to give me your flowers up front.
Well, I appreciate
flowers
it. Take this plant and put it on this plant.
Man, so also, in addition to the lovely talents and skill sets that the Lord's gifted you with, Victoria, you have such a powerful testimony. And I think the viewers have been following along thus far. They know that we're talking about sexual sin. And I know that part of your testimony today will be your own perspective of what that's looked like in your life. So, Victoria, could you start off with talking to us about how you came to Christ?
Okay. Well, I feel like there's two times I came to Christ.
Okay.
I was raised in church, even though that doesn't mean you came to Christ. I was raised in church, but what I saw, I was like, well, I really want to please the Lord. And, but I had turned into a very religious person, like a churchgoer. Mm-hmm. And I did intentionally as a kid walk up to the altar and want to give my life to Jesus and stuff like that. I just didn't know discipleship well, and experienced a lot of church hurt as well, which I didn't recognize that I blended the two. Like, my view and relationship with the Lord was my attendance and participation in church, and view of leadership. Like, those two were, well, period. Not even just leadership, but just all things church. And so with that was God to me. And I didn't know that I idolized church in that way. I thought that I was doing the right thing because I wanted to please the Lord. Yeah. And so with that, I fell off, or I fell off, and then I also walked away from, again, just some hurt. Well, not even just some. I think it was like constant hurt. That just one incident really just shattered me, and then that made me very, like, I don't know, but the Lord had opened my eyes also to let me see you're being really religious, and He took those scales off my eyes, which were really cool. And so those steps after that were like weird because in that I started to develop a very hardened heart towards God and towards church people and towards Christians and just towards everybody. And so in that journey, though, which I'm sure in this conversation we'll get to that journey, I rededicated my life to Jesus over the course of a couple years or a few years. In 2018, I rededicated Easter of 2018. I rededicated my life to Jesus, and it's like I never knew him before, which is so cool. Like the way that my relationship with Jesus is like I just met Jesus, like you know. And then I got baptized February 15th of last year, which was funny because I had been baptized a few times before, but this time was like different. It was like no other time because my heart, I had a different understanding. So I feel like I just got saved like in my whole life, you know. So just in these last few years, my life is not the same. So
wow, praise God for that, Victoria. Can you talk a little bit about how sexual sin is a part of your story or is around your story?
Okay, yeah. So having this opportunity to record this, I was sitting there trying to think about it, and like, when did it really actually start? Because I keep thinking like it didn't disqualify me because I was a virgin until I was 26. I had struggled with sexual sin before that, and I was introduced to pornography as a child, and some friends that I grew up like that were some childhood friends in the neighborhood. Hey, we found something on TV, and so I was always a curious kid anyway, and I'm a very, very much so visual learner. And I had questions and my parents didn't answer the questions. And I would reason because I just didn't know how to answer the question. And so I come over their house and they have once upon a time they had the Playboy channel. And so I'm like, what is this called? But my body's feeling something, but I don't know what I'm watching. Right, and so I never forgot that and was just on a journey to figure out, okay, well, what was that? Just explain to me what that is. And then leave me alone after that, you know, or I'll leave you alone, shall I say. And I just never had that question answered. So I just went on a search. But then I guess as we develop, our bodies start to feel things. And so then I'm like dealing with masturbation, but I also didn't know that's what that was called. So I'm like, well, I don't even know what this is I'm doing, but I like it. That happened, but then I started to learn the name of it, but then I'm like, well, what is that? And so I didn't put the two together until one day I put the two together. I said, oh, that's what that's called. Oh no, I'm such a terrible, nasty person. Oh my God, maybe I'm not pure anymore. Because again, I told you I was just really religious and and I just wanted to please the Lord with like my whole heart. And so I'm thinking I'm just nasty. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this, but this is really interesting. So then, actually, I was a little late bloomer in terms of development. Like, I don't want to say like that either, but just like in terms of understanding certain things sexually, which I would credit my parents, I guess, one for protecting me from it. Then also at the same time, I just didn't know. And so, and I was really, really actually trying to wait till I was married. So, a little bit before I gave my virginity to a person, I had discovered like porn and I was like, oh, wow. Okay. And then it became addicted to it. And that addiction didn't really start until later on, but it made a lot of stuff make sense. So then I'm like, okay, so what else is happening? Because I didn't understand sex at all. Like I didn't understand. So then I went on this rabbit hole just trying to understand it. And so I'm looking up stuff. And I think that's how the addiction happened, is because I was just really trying to get my questions answered. So I just kept looking at stuff. So I'm like, this is what this means. And this is, whoa. And then there's a whole world that I just didn't know about just right there. And it's real. And so, broken later. And then it's funny because I'm over here having compassion on these people. I'm like, oh my God, this poor girl. Like, I can't believe this is happening to her. It was weird. But anyway, like that happened. And then, I met this man and, who I, never been in love before. I was, like I said, was a virgin until I was 26. And so, he wooed me and I fell in love with him. And, I call him my first everything, first love, first relationship, which was not really a relationship when I look back on it. and then also my first. And so the Lord told me that he, other than the fact that that whole situation in and of itself was trash, just because I mean that was a very loaded scenario. Like he wasn't even divorced yet; it was in the process and stuff like that. The Lord said, "Well, if He loves you, He'll wait." And He kept telling me He loved me, and because He convinced me that we were going to get married, and I just knew we were getting married. Just once His divorce was finalized, then we were going to make the steps to me move to where He lives and all these things. And so, yeah, I was like, okay. But I kept trying to justify it though. And, he's just like, well, we're getting married anyway. And I just feel like, whatever, but I love you. And so, and I would always hear stories about reasons why young girls would give their virginity away. And I'm like, oh, that's not going to be me because the dude said I love him. And I was totally me. That was me. But just not as a teenager. I was like 100. And so
you weren't 100.
I wasn't 100, but I was close. In comparison, well, actually 20 is you're 10. And so, yeah. And so, the Lord kept telling me that if He loves you, He'll wait. So to this day, and there's no shade on Him. He never loved me. Like, I'm convinced of that because He convinced me to be intimate with Him because we're in love and we're going to get married. And so
the Lord was giving you such
very flat out, don't do it.
Well, I was going to say such fatherly feedback. You know, like if He loves you, He'll wait.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Wow. And even my dad was just like, well, I don't like him because he's not honest. Like he tells me that whenever we bring it up, he was just like, well, I already knew he wasn't the one because I asked him a question and he just wouldn't answer. Because the dude was really, he was a pastor, so he has the gift of gab. I don't want to say it like pastors have the gift of gab. I don't like the way that came out. However,
he was
there are some
smooth talker.
Yeah, he can convince anybody of anything. He was, so except my dad, and clearly, and so
daddies know,
right, and so which I'm thanks
daddies
know. But yeah, so that broke my heart. And so once everything went the way it did, because his true colors started to show, at least I started to see the true colors after we had gotten intimate. And my heart was shattered to pieces. And after that, I was like, well, I'm hurt and I just want somebody to want me. I know that they're not going to love me and they're not going to want me like that, but I just know that if they want to have sex with me, at least they want me. And so I was just like, okay, well, I'll just have sex then. and I was trying to, I think I was trying to find something that I probably knew I wasn't going to find, but I just was like, I'm just going to, any man that I met that wanted to have sex with me, I low key kind of vetted them. I was like, you suck. Like you're annoying, or maybe you're stupid. I don't know. There was, I had, cause I watched people and I was like, that's not going to be me. And so I was like, okay, now that this is the case and I literally just made the decision. I don't even care anymore. You don't care anything about me. So I made rules. Don't feel for them. Don't have any feelings at all. Don't like them because that'll ruin it. Cause then you get hurt. And then, understand that they don't care anything about you. So if they never call you, okay. And then if I want them to come over, I'll call them. Don't call me. I'll call you. Like that was.
So you created in your mind.
Yeah, I was like, here's rules.
This is how we're going to go about doing it.
Yeah. And if they called me, it was then be like, okay, that would almost be like, you got a privilege. You get to call me for this. Like, I don't even know who I thought I was. I was just a really broken hearted woman. And
it sounds like out of that hurt, that's where some of these thoughts and ideas came from, because that was giving you control.
Yeah. Because I had been rejected my whole life, honestly. Like, I've never been accepted for who I am. Like, everything is always wrong. Like, oh, why do you talk like that? Oh, you're quirky. Oh, you're goofy. Everything gets made fun of. So at least that's one thing that you won't talk about me for, because why would you talk about me for that? Like, if I fail there, then dang it. You know what I'm saying? However, that I recognize, and I think I knew that was unhealthy. Because that's just not healthy. Like, but I didn't know what to do about it. And then that posed a problem later on, because I just was just trying to search for acceptance. Like, I just wanted to just be accepted. That wasn't the most ideal way, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Victoria, you shared a lot just now. You talked about your journey, walking through sexual brokenness, and just your thought process along those lines. Talking through that now, can you look back and point at any strongholds or any thoughts the enemy was planting, either before or during that time period?
Well, beforehand was that you're not desirable, except obviously for sex. Like no man wants you other than for sex. Like that's what I believed. Um, and that there's no way out of this at this point. It's just that's it.
There's no way out of this. That sounds like such a common lie that he'll try to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, and you're filthy. And yeah.
What did your journey of overcoming those that set of circumstances, those negative beliefs, what that look like for you?
Oh, that's actually very recent
Okay.
discovery.
Amen.
Yeah, because I kind of just wanted to just move on, so I packed those feelings away. And it's one thing to like you can recognize something is not okay, and then you just move on from it, or you say, oh, I'm tired of this, and so you just move on, but you don't actually address it, like the actual problem.
Yeah,
and so I never addressed those feelings of worthlessness, of feeling the fact that rejection was 100% the reason why that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
In any relationship on either side. And yeah, so being in your group, actually meet me at the well. Yeah, plug.
Shout out to our home church, Victory Church.
Right, once again. But yeah, that was man, that was hard because I was like, what are these feelings? These hurt. I don't like it. And having to like just address it, and then also recognizing that God does care about this stuff. And God does care about how your heart feels and the reason why, like the root of all of this, and that his heart does break for you, not against you. And
wow, that is so good. His heart breaks for you, not against you.
Yeah. Like I didn't know that because churchy spaces will teach you otherwise because you made those people mad. I don't yes, sin is sin in the eyes of the Lord, and he hates sin, but he doesn't hate you. It just, I mean,
he doesn't hate you.
No, like, I mean, obviously it displeases him when we sin against him, especially when we keep doing it because he died for us. So I remember hearing a phrase when I was younger, like don't waste his blood kind of thing, which just sounds so weird. And stuff like that. So I'm like, oh man, I'm over here wasting his blood. Now, how am I supposed to go back and repent? There's only so many times. Like I'm over here believing like the approach to it. I'm thinking like, oh snap, I think I just did too much, or, yeah. So it especially when, I started like in homosexuality too, I was definitely like, I'm not loved by God. God definitely does not want to hear from me. And so it took
Victoria, I just want to pause you for a second. Sure. Can you share about where that was in your story? I know you shared about the previous church experience and then recently meet me at the well, but when was that for you in your walk?
That was, when was that? Like maybe like 2016 or so, actually, like a few years ago.
Okay.
Like in that, so like when I mentioned earlier from like watching porn or childhood or like just thoughts and things of that nature, like those thoughts came across my mind, but I never, even in being in a relationship, I never identified as gay. That's the interesting thing about it. But I just was curious. I was always curious. And so any questions that I had, I would just go find the answers myself. And I was working at this spa, and I think at that point I was just vulnerable, like extremely vulnerable and broken, and just like, again, wanting to be accepted. And so this chick there was attracted to me. And so and I think I really appreciated the attention that she gave me. And so she kept saying, "You wifey right there." She would be like, "I'm gonna make you wife," like from White Chicks. Like, "That's wifey right there." She would always say that, and I'd be like, "Oh, girl," and then my heart would be like, "Yo," but that actually, I feel good. Like that makes me feel good in my heart. And so, yeah, and so she just kept saying that, and so then like we started hanging out, and then we're in a relationship because lesbians just get relationships and are in love in like 24 hours, and so that's like that's just like a going joke. Like that's a whole thing because it's true, but sad.
It sounds like the enemy like took advantage of that desire
1000%.
to be seen, to be desired, to be wanted.
Yeah, and so once that happened, though, I was like, oh no, God doesn't love me. Like he's not. I think I really messed up this time because I was already very promiscuous, and the church really like this one's really bad. And so I was like, okay, well, I accepted that, and I didn't want to, but I was like, I really messed up. So I think I messed this one up. So I get it. That's on me. And so I was willing to just live my life and with the understanding that God's probably not going to want to hear from me at all. And so he hijacked that. Like, didn't nobody tell me opposite. He just started to love me more. Like, he already loved me. Let me fix that. He started to make his love more visible.
Wow.
In a lot of ways that I didn't expect, because I would barely, I didn't even, like, I felt like I messed up so hard. Well, I feel like crying. As I felt like I messed up so hard that I didn't even pray for my food. Like I wouldn't give thanks for my food. Every now and again, like she would want to pray for the food. So she was like, God is good. God is great. And then I was raised, I wasn't allowed to pray that prayer when I was a child. So I was like, this isn't even a real prayer for the food. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself. So I'm just like, okay, yeah, yay. And so every now and again, I'm like, Lord, thanks. Okay, you probably don't want to. Okay, it's okay. I'm just going to eat the food. Thanks. And then just like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. So, yeah, the well group, the meet me at the well, really helped me recognize stuff though. Like I just really didn't know about, like, let me not recognize and address those things.
Yeah.
Like we went there. Like God, like
there were some deeper things underlying.
Yeah, I didn't know.
The Lord was illuminating some connections for you.
Yeah. But like the way that he loved me saved my life, which is the reason why I gave my life back to him, because I was like, I didn't even know you loved me anymore. Like, and you accept me and you loved me then and answered a prayer. Cause I was like, there was just a very intense situation with me and her that I was like, she had stepped away really quick, and I closed my eyes and I was like, Lord, you probably don't want to hear from a person like me.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think I have anything left right now. And can you please tell me just what to do or how to respond? Because this is a lot. And he answered me and I responded and everything calmed down. And I was like, whoa, did he just answer me and I'm gay? Whoa. Like, how did this just, even though I'm not, oh, wow. Like that's, okay, cool. Like then that was just a little seed. And then he sent somebody to my job and was an angel, in my opinion. And, she was just telling me that I am loved, that God, like she literally started to like be God's mouthpiece and tell me that I'm loved, and that we think that we have to do things to earn his love, but we don't. And I was just like, and then as soon as she did, she walks away, and the next, like all the services let out for the spa, and then everybody comes. I'm just sitting there stunned in the face, like, what? Then they're like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, y'all didn't see that? There was an angel. You can't tell me she wasn't an angel. But yeah, like, and then we addressed the things, like I said, I keep jumping back and forth to that, but like we addressed a lot of stuff in this group, which was just like yesterday. Like it was so recent, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I suppressed all that stuff because I wanted to just move on, but I never addressed it. Like I started to address, like when I got to Victory, the fact that I didn't have anything left. And I was like, I have nothing left, Lord. I was convinced I was just going to die. Like I was depressed and really brokenhearted and had a lot of anxiety and just felt useless. And then these people accepted me knowing my history, or not even knowing all of it, just knowing what was present in that moment, shall I say.
And in that moment, you were identifying as gay, or they knew that you were in a relationship,
right? And and then and just in anything, like the interesting thing is, it wasn't even about being gay or straight. I was extremely sexually broken and rejected, and all I wanted was just somebody to love me, or not even that, but to accept me, and that's it. And that wasn't even good enough. Even when I was in the relationship with the female, she didn't even accept me because I'm not a man. So I was like, dang it, I'm still not good enough. Like I can't even measure up here. Like I suck. Okay. And that was my self-talk was, I mean, that's still a work in progress, I'll be honest. But
what does it look like for the Lord to walk alongside you in that?
You're gonna make me cry now. I got a visual that he was walking alongside me the entire time. That was so cool. I think John Bevere came to the church one time and he played a video. I was not, I don't like crying. So I'm over here trying not to. Okay. Anyway, he played this video. This young lady, I think she was like going blind or something. Yeah, I think she was like losing her sight or something like that. And she felt like her dad had left her. And so while they're going on, I just recommend finding the video. I'll put it in the notes since I can do that. So anyway, like she was thinking like her dad abandoned her since she had this situation go on. And so when they do like his perspective, he was like, no, I was really there the whole time. But he was like, yeah, I did leave you and I'm really sorry. But he was just outside the door because he just didn't know how to respond. But then he was just like, I left you so that you can figure out like how to do this. And so when I saw that, I was in there just as teary-eyed as I am now, and probably worse, because I just was like, God was really, because then when I saw that, then he started to show me flashbacks of my life and how he was like, I'm going to stop talking for a sec so I don't have that cry voice. Whew. Okay. How he was like walking with me.
Yeah.
And he was standing there with me when I was just standing outside alone. And like, he was just with me. And I didn't know, like I'm driving in the car and the pouring down rain just bawling my brains out. I was like, Lord, I'm so sorry. Like I know you don't want to hear from me, but I just really need you to give me a place to live. And he did. And I was like, what? But he was there like from the, like in the mud and in the rain and in the sunshine. Wow. And then like it was dark and he started to show me glimmers of light and made like the light got bigger and made the room start to become visible. Like he really just like loved me and was present the whole time though. Like that was the cool thing. So yeah, I hope I just answered that question. I was not expecting to cry. Yeah.
That was beautiful. You asked the Lord, well, in that moment, it sounds like you didn't know. Yeah. Your heart wanted to know where he was at, but he came up and showed you that he's been there the whole time.
Yeah. And I was like, you were?
Yeah.
Wow. Like just protecting me, because I was a very violent and the verbally abusive, shall I say, relationship. Even with the dude, like those were really mean people. Like she would like hit me really hard to wake me up to tell me how upset she is with me. I would go to bed scared that like I wouldn't even go to sleep. Like I was very self-harmful during that time. And I mean, it was just a very not okay time. So I was broken to pieces. So
Victoria, you've shared such beautiful things with us. Thank you so much for your transparency. Do you have any advice for somebody who maybe is trying to break out of a lifestyle or address sexual sin in their lives?
Yeah. Don't let anybody but the Lord tell you who and what you are. Because whether you're, no matter like what your lifestyle looks like, whether you're gay or straight or whatever the case is, it's all sin in God's eyes, first of all. But also a lot of people will try to tell you what you need to look like, what you need to do, how you need to behave. And a lot of times that's based on their opinion and a view that they want you to look like and have. And we're made in the image of God and not the opinion of other people. And so if I'd say anything, press into the love of Jesus that he has for you. His love is very shaping and very transformative, covers a multitude of sin. Amen. And that's my favorite part. His love covers a multitude of sin. Yeah.
Press into his love. That's so good. Any other thoughts, Victoria, that you have on this topic that you want to share?
Yeah, I think it kind of has me repeat some of what I was saying in terms of the love part, because I can't stress that enough. Like, you may feel like you've done something so wrong, whether it be a sexual sin, whether it be you lie, whether it be that you steal, or whatever it is. You're not too dirty. You're not at all. Like, you're blood washed by Jesus Christ, by his blood that was shed for you on the cross. And yeah, like you're not too bad. Like, he will love you to life, because he came that you would have life and have it more abundantly. So that's what I live for. That, like, that is
he will love you to life.
Yeah,
we got to put that on a shirt. He will love you to life.
Yeah, because he loved me to life.
To death. He'll love you to life.
Yeah, there's a song. He said, "It's no longer I who live, but Christ in me. For I've been born again. My heart is free." I'm gonna put that in the thing too. I'm gonna mess up the song, but it says, "You love me back to life," and I am here today because of the love of Jesus for me, and it is nothing else. It's not because somebody told me about Jesus. It's not because somebody brought me to church. Jesus met me at my job. He met me in the car when I was crying in the rain. He met me in my apartment. He met me, and then he met me at church. Victory being my safe space when it came to church, because I was done with Christian people. Yeah, that's another day's conversation. Yeah, but I was done. We'll bring you back on another season. Oh, bless the Lord. And so, and then with that, the fact that was my heart's disposition as well. Yeah. So, I felt like when when Saul turned Paul, like, my name is Victoria, and it will always be Victoria. And I feel like God changed my name by officially making me a victorious person. Like, like I put it on my neck. Like, I'm like, his love made me victorious. And I think in overcoming, at least for this topic, sexual sin, it's his love for me. So that would be the thing I would say to anybody, like, press into his love, because you're not disqualified. You're not unlovable. You're not like, but you don't know my story. We all have one. And there's nothing that anybody in this world hasn't already gone through that Jesus can't even heal you from. Like, that's why he died on the cross for you, and all of the things that you think he can't get you out of. That's literally what he died for. Wow. And still loves you, because we stumble and we fall, but the Lord picks us back up, and we have the opportunity to repent and come back to him and find a new footing or a new step in him, so long as we press into him. But if you have never done that before, now's a great time, because it's never too late till it's too late. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's only one too late. So long as you have breath in your lungs, to your very last breath. This story just came to my heart. It moves me all the time. There's the story of Jesus on the cross, and there were two criminals next to him. Yeah. The fact that they were criminals should say enough, right? They both had two options. One picked the bad option, one picked the good option. And one of them mocked Jesus and was like, "Oh yeah, well, if you say you're the Son of God, if you say you're Jesus, then, save yourself and save us too." And then the other guy was like, "Do you not know who this is? He's the Messiah. Like, this is the King." And he's just like, "Lord, remember me. Remember me when you get to paradise." And Jesus was like, "Surely you will be with me in paradise," down to his very last breath. Like, so it's never too late. And we don't know what their crime was. Yeah. That's the thing. So that ought to tell you, it doesn't matter what you've ever done in your life. You down to your very last breath, which I hope that you don't wait till you get to your very last breath, but down to your very last breath, you have the most beautiful opportunity to give your life to Jesus, and the fact that he died for these two as well.
For all of us. He will love you to life.
He will love you back to life. Yeah.
He will love you to life. Wow. That is such a powerful.
Yeah.
Powerful way to end this episode, Victoria. I do want to say one thing before we wrap up. I'm glad that you brought up the concept of church hurt.
Mhm.
Because I think that is common in Christian communities. It's not talked about enough, right? Like how we have an experience with some unkind people who are at the church but may not be acting as the capital C church, and that marks your experience or someone's experience for the rest of their lives. But I love how you called Victory a safe space. Like you felt safe there. So to anybody watching this, if you've experienced church hurt, if you feel like church isn't a safe space for you, talk to the Lord and let him direct you to a safe space, not just a church, but a safe space. And I pray that you find a church that is a safe space. Victoria, thank you so much for your vulnerability, sharing your testimony here on the Walking in Victory podcast. Thank you all for viewing. We'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and share with a friend. If you want to be notified about future videos, subscribe and hit that bell. See you later.